An Alton homeowner got a big surprise when part of his sidewalk collapsed, revealing an archway and an entrance under his house.
So mysterious. Fox News' Patrick Clark taking us underground, where a tunnel dating back to the 1800s has been uncovered for the first time.
In Alton, Illinois, we are going underground into a tunnel that was just found.
A lot of brick. Whatever they built this far, it took a lot of men and a lot of hours. You know, not one guy didn't do this.
Gary Mawkins first uncovered this tunnel when he discovered his sidewalk starting to slope.
Had a problem here at the sidewalk, and as we were doing some excavating and pre-packing the rock in there, we discovered this tunnel here. And according to historians here in the Alton area, this tunnel was probably put in here around 1840.
When the West Alton farmer and his wife moved into this home, he knew of its history dating back to the 1890s. Mawkins believes the change in elevation from 1895, when this brick-lined street was put down, covered the opening to this underground mystery.
But why is it stair-stepped right there? Why is that in there? What was the purpose? You see the offset in the brick? And then if you actually look along this wall, it turns that way a little bit. Like, look down along this wall.
Whether for ice storage, a carriage, or part of the Underground Railroad, it's anyone's best guess.
It's unique. There are a few tunnels around the Alton area we have found out since we checked with the Landmark Historic Society. It's probably been used for maybe a half dozen things through the years, anywhere from an ice house to a root cellar and maybe a few other options.
The history. I mean, you got to wonder why that tunnel was made.
It could have been used for a part of the Underground Railroad. There's no proof of that, but there was a major ferry here in the Alton area going back to the Missouri side, and it's possible it could have been used at.
Well, I think it was for the Underground Railroad. That's what my theory is.
Mawkins is open to the idea of opening the tunnel for tours if he can get the city or someone to help with the logistics and cost. For now, he has to fix his sidewalk and seal up the tunnel.
We've got maps that go back to 1863, and this house was not there, and there was not another house on this property here. There was two down at the corner and one up at this corner.
Mawkins, a history lover, says he wants to preserve this past and the current day mystery in his life.
So it was at least 9 feet tall, 9.5 feet wide, and how far back we went, like I said, we're not sure. We know it goes 60 feet.
With more questions than answers, in Alton, Illinois, Patrick Clark, Fox 2 News.
This was the controllers trying to utilize leftover technology after the last reset and nearly perfecting levitation technology. This is no jet engine that's in this thing, aptly referred to as the flying trash can. Yet it makes you wonder if bits and pieces of this is allowed to be mainstream. I wonder what they truly have hidden. But the old world had this technology for a long time. Just look at the flying Vimana airships of India. Question everything, friends. Until next time.
That in Hindu texts and Sanskrit epics they speak of flying palaces or chariots called Vimana. It is said that they possessed anti-gravity technology and was powered by liquid mercury. These are writings that are over 4,000 years old. They have instructions for flying, turning, what to do in case of lightning and storms, how to land. 8 chapters describing 3 different crafts.
Tartaria mudflood theory. The Tartar mudflood theory is a controversial hypothesis suggesting a catastrophic event occurred in the 18th or 19th century, resulting in a massive flood of mud that engulfed entire cities and led to the destruction of entire civilizations. According to this theory, Tartar, once a powerful empire covering a significant part of the Eurasian continent, was decimated by this event, deliberately expunging its existence from historical records by the ruling elite. Proponents of the Tartar mud flood theory highlight various pieces of evidence to support their claims. One significant piece is the presence of enigmatic buildings and structures worldwide, seemingly predating the officially recognized timeline of human history. These structures, known as megaliths, often consist of large stone blocks that would have been technologically challenging to transport and construct at the time. Proponents argue that the construction techniques employed in these buildings indicate the existence of an advanced civilization that was obliterated by the mud flood. Furthermore, proponents point to peculiar architectural features found in numerous ancient buildings in Europe and other regions. These features, such as unconventional windows and doorways, lack practical purposes and deviate from modern architectural norms. Supporters of the theory contend that these features are remnants of the lost civilization destroyed by the mud flood. Geological evidence has also been cited to support the Tartar mud flood theory. Some researchers have identified sedimentary layers in specific areas, suggesting the occurrence of a significant flood event in the past. Additionally, soil samples from various parts of the world allegedly contain abnormally high levels of substances like iridium, typically associated with meteor impacts or other catastrophic incidents. Proponents argue that the mainstream scientific community has either disregarded or purposefully suppressed this evidence to maintain the existing paradigm and avoid acknowledging the possibility of an advanced civilization wiped out by a natural disaster. Moreover, proponents contend that the ruling elite deliberately expunged Tari's memory from history to retain their power and control over the population.
This is the largest brick building in the entire world at one point. It's 125 feet tall and 1.6 million square feet of space. It's the Stanley Docks Tobacco Warehouse. Now, interestingly, it was built in only 1 year. It's made of 27 million bricks, 30,000 panes of glass, and 8,000 tons of steel. And if you look around Liverpool, England, where this is, you can clearly see that there's a lot of competition, because these were also some of the biggest buildings in the entire world. But they also look just like everywhere else. This neoclassical or Greco-Roman architecture spans the entire world in almost every country. And many people will say it's from colonization and whatever they want to say, but it's clear that this is a one-world architecture, and it was built by one people. It really makes you wonder, you know?
There is this one theory called the Tartarian mud flood. It's a legend of this ancient, lost civilization with access to technology thousands of years ahead of its time. And get this, one day, this empire just disappears. And it seems like they have been buried under this massive, muddy flood. You gotta understand that before the flood, these guys had 1,600 years to conquer the world. There were thriving civilizations everywhere. And with the knowledge of the angels, these guys must have possessed ridiculous technology. So I recently found out about this 2,000-year-old book. It's called the Book of Jubilees. This book actually explains what Noah's life was like after the flood. And this just blows my mind. Because these guys, being the last men on earth, would go up to entire cities to just claim for themselves. They would literally go up to these ruins of these once great palaces to crown themselves king. They would ultimately build a whole new empire out of what was already there.
I'll show you how I started this whole process in the first place. There is still one way out. So let's analyze the situation. The puppet masters are about to have you right where they want you, under their thumb. You see, once CBDCs are rolled out, you will be at their mercy. They decide how much you spend, where you spend it, and even how much money you have left at the end of the month. And that will make it impossible for you to escape. You will be on a perpetual hamster wheel for the rest of your life, living paycheck to paycheck, because no matter how much you save, their negative interest rates will chew away at your savings, because they don't even view it as your money to begin with in the first place. Forget your property rights, forget your future, forget your liberty. You will be nothing but a slave to the system. And that's just the money. They said it themselves, you will own nothing and you'll be happy. You will eat the bugs because they control the food supply. And if you dare speak up, well then they'll be very upset and your social credit score will go down. Good luck getting a new rental agreement, and if you try to run away, good luck, because the next step in controlling energy supply is banning gas-powered cars. Because once everyone has electric cars, with a flick of a switch, they deem whether you are worthy or not of travel. The clock is seconds away from midnight. DEFCON 1. But that's what happens when power is concentrated in a select few hands. Because power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And that is why you need to escape now. And that means you need to claw back the freedom you deserve. And the way to claw back that freedom is by 3 avenues. The first one is financial freedom, and this is obvious. Because once they have complete control over the financial system, they will make it impossible for you to be financially free. Because they want you to be dependent on them. They need you to be dependent on them. Because when you're dependent on them, you are controllable. So that means you need to put every waking moment into earning your financial freedom. The next is time freedom, and this is truly how you get off the hamster wheel. You need to stop trading your time for money. Because if you do, inflation and negative interest rates will eat away at your savings, and you'll be stuck in the debt cycle forever.
Do you know that time travel is real? And I don't mean theoretically, it is literally real. Einstein's theory of special relativity shows us that time is kind of an illusion, and you can make time run slower for you by traveling near the speed of light. Now here's the unsettling part. Those same equations unveiled by Einstein have solutions that do literally allow for time travel into the past. They are complicated and involve things like spinning universes, black holes, and wormholes, but the takeaway is, in theory, you could travel into the past. This of course comes with its own set of paradoxes, but if there is one thing I want you to remember, time travel is real.
Heard the theory that the Trumps are time travelers?
Grab me a DeLorean.
This connects to Nikola Tesla.
No way!
Nikola Tesla died, and within his hotel that he had 80 plus trunks of all his patents, his designs for different technologies, all this stuff. Guess who they sent first to go and collect the stuff?
I don't know.
John G. Trump. Donald Trump's uncle.
What?
Weird.
So the theory is that he took some of these trunks.
Oh no.
Oh no.
But Tesla said that he had figured out how to bend time. So
as one does.
The theory is Donald Trump's uncle took this, created a time machine.
Oh my gosh.
And then the weird connection is there was a book that came out in 1896, and it's called Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey.
You're saying
do you know
it was actually Baron Trump?
Do you know what the book was about?
What?
Time travel?
Baron Trump time traveling.
No!
In 2006, in the bustling city of Kiev, Ukraine, something extraordinary happened that would baffle even the sharpest minds. Picture this. Police receive a call about a confused man causing a stir. When they arrive at the scene, they come face to face with a young man named Sergei Panamarenko. But there's something peculiar about Sergei. He's scared, dressed in bizarre old-fashioned clothes, and carrying a vintage camera. Little did the police know they had stumbled upon a real-life time traveler. As the officers requested Sergei's identification, they were taken aback. The ID he handed them was from a bygone era, a country that no longer existed, the Soviet Union. Ukraine had once been a part of the Soviet Union, but it had dissolved years ago. Seeing such an ID was a rarity, especially from someone who appeared to be in his 20s. What added to the mystery was Sergei's birth date on the ID, 1932. The math didn't add up. Curiosity peaked, The police asked Sergei what day he believed it was. To their astonishment, he confidently replied, April 23, 1958. At this point, the police decided it was time to take Sergei to a cozy little room to have a chat with a doctor. Dr. Pablo Kudrikov became the caretaker of this enigmatic time traveler, and rather than dismissing Sergei's claims as delusion, the doctor decided to play along. Dr. Kudrikov probed Sergei, asking him to recall how he ended up in the year 2006, despite firmly believing it was still 1958. Sergei's response was captivating. It was daytime, and I wanted to go for a walk in the city. I took my camera, but when I left my house, I saw a peculiar object in the sky. It had an unusual bell shape and was flying in a manner that defied explanation. It's hard to put into words what I witnessed. Perhaps it would be better to look at the photos I captured. Intrigued by Sergei's words, Dr. Kudrikov laid his hands on the antique camera. It turned out to be a rare Yashica Flex, a brand recognizable to the doctor, who happened to be a photographer himself. However, there was a problem. The camera used a film that hadn't been produced since the 1970s. Determined to unlock the secrets within, Dr. Kudrikov sought the expertise of a photography aficionado named Adam Poizner. Adam carefully extracted the film and made a startling discovery. The film had been manufactured in 1956 and was in impeccable condition. With bated breath, he developed the reel, and what they saw in those old photographs left them dumbfounded. The images depicted a Kiev of yesteryear, cars, clothing, and even street signs, all from the 1950s. Strangely, there were also pictures of buildings that no longer existed, and in the midst of it all, there was Sergei, enjoying a lovely day with his girlfriend, wearing the same peculiar attire he had been found in. But the most jaw-dropping image on the reel was undoubtedly a snapshot of a bell-shaped UFO. Sergei, true to his word, had captured the bizarre object on camera. When questioned about this otherworldly photograph, he asked the doctor, "Now, are you convinced that I'm telling the truth? I still don't understand what that object is or how I ended up in this year. The moment I took that picture and looked down at the camera, everything changed, and I found myself here." Dr. Kudrikov, armed with a scientific mind, proposed a hypothesis. He suggested that if the UFO was indeed an alien spacecraft, it might have whisked Sergei across the universe at the speed of light, resulting in time dilation as per Einstein's theory of relativity. For Sergei, barely any time had passed, but on Earth, a staggering 47 years had flown by. That night, Sergei retreated to his room, and that's where the trail goes cold. The hospital's security cameras recorded his entry but failed to capture his exit. The room had only one exit, heavily monitored and fortified with barred windows. Yet, as if by magic, Sergei vanished into thin air, leaving behind his camera, the perplexing photographs, and a mind-boggling mystery for the police to solve. But the plot thickens. Investigators delving deeper into the case stumbled upon records of a Sergei Panamarenko who had gone missing in Kiev back in 1960. To their astonishment, they also managed to track down Sergei's girlfriend from the photographs, now in her 70s. She revealed that Sergei had indeed disappeared in 1958, but had returned a few days later, the exact amount of time he had spent in 2006. However, in the 1970s, he vanished again, never to be seen or heard from again. Years after his disappearance, the woman received a strange photograph in the mail from Sergei himself. The photo, dated 2050, depicted an older Sergei with a mustache, standing against the backdrop of a Kiev skyline adorned with towering skyscrapers. He wrote a note, promising his imminent return, a promise that, for reasons unknown, went unfulfilled. The story of Sergei Panamarenko has become legendary, hailed as the most well-documented case of time travel in history. The enigma of his vanishing act, the perplexing photographs, and the unanswered questions continue to captivate the minds of those who look to explore the realms of the unknown.